Well, you guys know I've been reading a lot of European comics lately, and I really liked the Valerian hardcovers that were put together from Cinebook, which is a British publisher. And so I saw that they were doing Lucky Luke, which is a 1940s book also. The British do this weird thing. They got the spines kind of, I call them upside down, and this is how they do it. So this is a collection, the first Lucky Luke stuff from 1946, which was appearing in small magazines and just features and things like that. You got a whole history at the beginning. I mean, these books are really well put together. You learn a lot about the author and so how he sort of got into all of this really cool historical stuff for people who are into that. And if you're reading this, you're probably into that. So it's really, really cool. And it lasts a while. I mean, there was a lot of reading here. They really did not mess around with making sure you got the whole story about how this came about. Good stuff. Once you get into it, Lucky Luke is a very silly thing. I mean, you kind of, it feels like a Looney Tunes kind of scenario. Like Lucky Luke always gets into trouble with bandits. He's kind of walking around, kind of bumbling around. The art style is very cartoony and silly. And he then gets himself into trouble, usually captured, and then escapes somehow and wins again, and takes down the bad guys and rides off into the sunset on his merry way. There's not really a continuity between any of these stories. You can really just pick up any of them and read them at any time, and they all kind of have that little formula to it, a little cartoony formula. He does manage to keep the scenarios, I'd say, different enough on each one that it stays fresh as you read through these things. I don't know how that's going to last through all the volumes of this. For me, I like Westerns quite a bit, and I like, the character's pretty cool. Like I said, the scenarios are kind of pretty fun in some instances. It might be a little too cartoony and childish for me, as it's obviously meant as a kid's cartoon type of setup. But I did like reading it for the history. There is some times where that works. And even though this is a 1946 Golden Age cartoon sort of setup, this reads a lot better than the Marvel and DC superhero stuff from this time period. The pacing's better. There's no overwriting. A lot of that stuff fills up those dialogue panels, and this Lucky Luke does not do that. So this feels more like actually a Silver Age offering. If this would have been American comics, so it's way ahead of its time in that regard, which is really cool stuff. There's some cool detail in the Western towns that are really fun. There's a really nice little chase scene right here as you see them going through town. Just good stuff. But imminently, this was a little too, I'd say, immature of a read to be that interesting as an adult. Cool for historical stuff, like I said. I'm not regretting buying it at all, and it's good, and I understand the context of what it is, which is really cool. But just not for me. I don't think I'm going to pursue this series any further personally. So cool stuff. Beautiful hardcover collection if you're into this, and if it's your style, this is definitely going to be good for you. Even though I didn't like it that much, it's not my thing. I do recognize its greatness. I do recognize the storytelling craft was really well done. Pacing of all the stories was great. The setups were great. The sort of twists were always really good. The art, is a cartoony style, but it was very well rendered, and there was lots of cool, nice Western detail that all felt very good through the course of this. And so I'm still going to call this an 8.5 out of 10. It's good stuff. It's very classic stuff. It's just not for me. And it might be for you. So who knows? All right. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon with some more comic reviews.